And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to day number 2 of HomeStory Cup 25, the group stage. We're still diving into Group C. We're almost at the tail end of it, though. 2 rounds left in the group to determine who makes it out into the playoffs. I'm, of course, your live VIP, and with me, we have joined by these amazing players. We're diving into our next series, spawning in the top left-hand corner of side Delta. We have our German Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing the Platinum Heroes. It is ForJumy. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Romanian Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Red Pack Esports. It is CuKu. Let's go. ForJumy and CuKu, 2 players that we have not been able to cover much of. We casted a series between CuKu and Harstem earlier. In that series, CuKu went for 2 base all-ins, 2 games in a row. Different variations. In game 1, CuKu went for a proxy factory into proxy tank. In game 2, CuKu went for, we have quite a bit of a battle here between the workers, but in game number 2, CuKu went for a 2 base all-in, going up to, 4 axes? 4 axes, we lacked add-ons, Mass Marine, we rallied across the map with 3 tanks to try to skirt around the Zelnago and Alcione, committed to the all-in, and it was looking strong, it was looking powerful, but Harstem shut it down. The question becomes, do we still plan on doing purely all-ins, or do we have something else in store for us here against ForJumy? What I will say is that the skill level and the skill gap between CuKu and ForJumy is much closer compared to CuKu and Harstem, so I want to believe that maybe we can get a more back and forth mid-game. I say I want to believe. I still do know, though, that CuKu is still a very aggressive player. He is prone to going for these all-ins and aggressive styles. It is his style. It is what he enjoys. It is what he loves. We'll see what we got. We'll see what we embrace. As for now, it is going to be a reactor first. Reactor first, racks expand here at a CuKu, as CuKu did only take 1 gas in the main, so we will take our CC on the low ground. We attempted to delay, and we did for a moment or 2, but alas, we do get our base up and running. Meanwhile, across the map, it is a gate cyber expand, everything looking as it should. No proxies, no shenanigans, nothing out on the map yet. Nothing yet here between our players. ForJumy keeping that probe hidden, coming back in for a secondary scout, just going to read what's going on, just to delay the expansion if at all possible. We'll see where our players lead us. We will see as we do delay the expansion. SCV forced off the CC. Another worker forced back in. Factory on the way. We're not going for a 3-rax follow-up. The probe scout is shut down, but we do get eyes on the factory of choice on the next building here. So a nice scout out of ForJumy is aware that there is no 3-rax or 2-1-1 setup. And back at home, our tech of choice is going to be a Twilight Council. No Stargate play. Stargate play can be a little bit greedy, can be punished, especially against a player like CuKu. So going for a Twilight Council makes a lot of sense just because of CuKu's aggressive nature. Twilight Council leads into Blink and can lead into something safer like 3-gate Blink, for example. Before we take a 3rd base and expand, we can build up a Stalker count, be active on the map, and contain the Terran opponent. For now, Adept Shades keep an eye on the production. So far, continued Marine production. We're getting into a 1-1-1 as a follow-up. Starport is on the way. Likewise, CuKu trying to keep up with the shades of ForJumy to manage to at least force cancels. Do defend our natural base, getting it saturated, up and running. Behind this, we can see ForJumy throwing down the robo. There is 1 gateway on the low ground and 2 gateways in the main. And my apologies, I assumed it was going to be 3-gate Blink. It is not. We're being far more aggressive here. We're rushing into charge very quickly. So we prioritize charge. We're going for additional gateways. That's going to be a 4-gate setup with charge. And we could even go up to 6 gates, maybe even an 8-gate 2-base all-in. ForJumy looking to be the aggressor here instead, stripping that away from CuKu. Meanwhile, CuKu going for an add-on sub, going what looks to be a Banshee tank. Yep, tech lab on the factory, building up tanks, building up Banshees. Banshee tank has been quite popular as of late, especially in the aftermath of IM Katowice. A lot of the Korean and European top-tier Terran players have been embracing this and mixing it into their series, especially as of, again, a couple of months ago. Has been quite trendy. And even CuKu looking to embrace it as well. Meanwhile, the Prism is on the way. Gateways are finishing up. And here come the charge slots. Again, charge is going to finish just as the Prism gets across the map. And what do we have to defend? I mean, Banshees, they'll help a little bit, I guess. Tank, the first one is on the way. but the bio army. The bio army is lacking. There's no bunker on the low ground. There's no bunker in the main either. The adept does confirm the lack of bunkers. And we can get out of control. We can drop into the main base. The tank yet to siege. Go for a massive warp in. And CuKu sees. Tank does siege up, but the bio army's exposed. We go for the marines. Marines are going down. The tank as well. Boys are being pulled, but it's too late. We get on top of the tank. The tank is surrounded. The tank goes down. Oh, and now we can go to town here on the mineral line. Nice whole position mic on the SCVs, but regardless, we're getting to the mineral line. Workers are going down. We get 5 worker kills. We get a good chunk of marines, a tank, but we have defended. We deflect the main army. Big scout, though. We did get eyes on the tech lab, of course. Banshees across the map. Probes are going down. Do we have detection? 4, 5 probe kills. We do an equal amount of economic damage, even a greater amount of damage. 6 probes for 5 SCVs. The Banshee is forced back. But again, remember, ForJumy didn't just get worker kills, he also got the tank. But again, it looks like CuKu has defended, has deflected the army. ForJumy has to back off. ForJumy is expanding, we're not all in. We're taking another base, working up towards Archon production, and even towards Storm. Meanwhile, there's another big warp in here across the map. What is on the low ground? Not much. The observer confirms this. Where's the tank? The tank is further back in the main. The natural's exposed. We deny mining time. We don't quite break into the main base, but we deny mining nonetheless. Tank does siege up. Tank is now in position. Observer does confirm. ForJumy does back off. Waiting for an extra round. SimCity on the way. With eBay. Walling out, this Zealot gets 2 SCVs here at the natural, getting even more damage done. Oh my god. Forcing friendly fire, 6 workers in total. Meanwhile, across the map, Banshee, they do hit once again. The 2 Banshees can't one-shot probes. ForJumy late to respond, late to react. 8 probe kills across the map. Meanwhile, we're not done. We push into the natural. We overextend. The Prism. Oh, the Prism barely survives. We do pull back in time. You can see the trades here. It was 12 Zealots for 9 Marines, for 1 tank, for 6 SCVs. Not the best trades. I mean, getting the tank was nice, but it's costing us so much. It means that ForJumy doesn't have much of an army, as we've been losing it. Throwing away so many Zealots here, and the Marines, they're sneaking up on the Prism. No! No reaction. Doesn't see. The Prism goes down. Massive pickup here for CuKu. Shuts down the Prism. Now he's safe and sound back at home. He can calm things down. He can settle into his 2-base setup. Working towards stim, combat shields, eBay upgrades. And across the map, ForJumy likewise. Oh, still bleeding out probes. The Banshees are doing so much for CuKu. Got 4 kills on one. We have another 4 on the other. Wait, 5, 6. Now 6. Oh my god. 6, 7 probes. I believe 1 Banshee went down earlier. Yeah. So it's been 3 Banshees so far. Getting 25 probes between them. Very impressive. 25 workers, and as a result, CuKu, he's still not done. We're catching even more probes. ForJumy getting pulled apart by the Banshee harass. Not even Cloak here. And again, because we spent so many warp-ins on Zealots, because Blink was delayed, or Blink isn't even done, so keeping up with those Stalkers is just so difficult. 13 probe kills. We can still get more. ForJumy lying in wait in position. Oh, we cloak in time. We do cloak, we avoid those shots. Detection not available. And the observers are still 1 across the map, 1 at the 3rd base. Banshee backs off. And CuKu, he's not looking too bad here. Is still on 2 bases, but now 3rd CC is on the way. We're building up quite an army. And there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure on ForJumy. We're moving out once again with another Prism. Charge lots lying in wait. For a moment there, I assumed it was going to be a Storm drop, but no, we keep the High Templar back at home. Storm is done, but they're chilling back at home instead. Likewise, Observer is spotted. Army does stim, but alas, we do get away in time. Oh! Ooh, never mind. Did cause us a 2nd scan. We did shut it down. Double jump towards the north. We do have an army lying in wait. ForJumy is ready to receive. He is ready in the main. Likewise, ready to dive into the main base of his opponent. Marines are in position. It's a very tense moment here between our two players. Do we have detection? We do. Do have the observer at the third. Double jump slips in, but gets eyes on the army, gets eyes on the shield battery. Yeah, we do commit before we pull back. CuKu does pull back. As we're getting towards a ghost production, third base should soon be taken. The army moves out to expand, and that means that suddenly... Okay, no, we've left some Marines. Never mind. I was going to say that we exposed our main base and we can go with the Prism, but Marines have been left behind. We are ready for the Prism, for the drop. Scanning across the map reveals the army in the main. Blink is finally on the way. Upgrades. When it comes to splash damage, again, we're just heavily reliant on Storm. Prism does dive in. We have Marines going for another big warp in. 4 zealots at a time. The warp in does complete. And we're getting some of the Marines, getting some of the army. We have plenty of reinforcements. Looks like with the help of the production, we can clean this up. Once again, another scan. We've been scanning quite a bit, actually, from CuKu. Have been a lot of scans. How many less mules as a result? As CuKu is building up on 3 bases. Able to keep up in terms of supply. Another big warp into the main. Not enough anti-air. Zealots are getting damage done. They collapse on top of the marauders. SCVs are going down. Even delaying the second eBay. And ForJumy is pushing right through the center. ForJumy's moving out. He's being cleaned up across the map. And at the same time, we do try to hit the natural base, but we're ready for this. The mortals we go for the surround. The Prism, sorry, the Medevacs will barely get away. We'll pick up. But ForJumy is still pushing. Again, we have 6 High Templar, plenty of storms. Plenty of storms available. Likewise, we have EMPs from the side of CuKu. Does get ahead of time. High Templar in the Warp Prism. Big mine shots on the Zealots. The Zealots are softened up. Storms coming in. Not quite. EMP grazes a High Templar. The army still on board. Mine shots once again. They clean up the Zealots. But we're still holding on to those storms. EMPs, they connect with the Immortals, but not on the High Templar. And the army zoned away. So 2 High Templar over the storms. They do connect with the army. We still have 3 storms left. Ooh, 2 storms remaining. GG gets called. It's just too much. The third base was broken. And ForJumy takes game number 1. Ooh, GG. A very chaotic game between ForJumy and CuKu. ForJumy lost so many probes. I lost count. It was over 25. Honestly, borderline 30 probes went down to the Banshee Harass. At the same time, though, the Zealot Harass was likewise able to nullify some of the advantages that CuKu would have otherwise had, with the tank count, with the bio army, with the SCVs as well, just keeping CuKu pinned back at home. Tried to go for some counterattacks, tried to go for some drop play, but alas, ForJumy was able to keep up. And then when it came to the final push, it came down to the spell caches. The storms were insane, and the EMPs were not connecting with the High Templar the way they needed to. As a result, CuKu just could not engage, could not push in, was zoned out. And with that, ForJumy takes a lead. ForJumy does take a lead, getting into our next game. Going to be loading into Crimson Court. We're going to be loading into Crimson Court here. A map we don't see too often. Again, we're used to seeing Kione, Oceanborn, Side Delta. This is more picked maps in the map pool. Have to embrace some of these other more unorthodox maps as we're spawning in. And in the top right hand corner of Crimson Court, we have our German Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing the Platinum Heroes, leading the series 1-0. It is ForJumy. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have the Romanian Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Red Pack Esports. It is CuKu. In a very chaotic game. A lot of workers going down left and right. in the end, ForJumy did get out of hand with, of course, his Storm, with his ground-based army. Was able to break through, and CuKu was not quite ready at the third base. The third was exposed. That's the other thing I should emphasize as well, is that CuKu was out of position. Remember, he was stuck on the low ground, pushing up towards his third, whereas the third was under fire the entire time. Lost every single worker there. Did lose the base. It was an uphill battle for CuKu. Now we're selling into game 2. CuKu does mix things up. Okay, this time, double gas. Double gas opener out of CuKu, as opposed to the previous game, which was a Rax expand with a reactor first. So with the double gas, we can go for a faster factory. We will go for a delayed command center. And we'll see exactly how aggressive CuKu wants to be. Back at home, ForJumy setting up his Sim City in his main base. No going for any kind of Reaper Cliff wall-offs. Does keep his production further back. His tech as well. We have our expansion on the low ground. We should soon be seeing that factory. And we'll keep an eye on CuKu. You can see ForJumy, he's scouting, he's checking for a proxy out at his third base location. So ForJumy a little bit paranoid, and again, I don't blame him considering the opponent he's up against. Factory's on the way. Probe dipping in. Ooh, the wall is not a wall. We got a full scout of the main base. We confirm the factory location, that there is no proxy, at least not initially. Oh, SCV goes down to the probe. Oh my god, almost getting a second SCV kill. Doesn't quite get it, but not a bad pickup nonetheless. There's a CC on the high ground. Will eventually be landed on location. So CuKu is expanding, is not all in, but still a bit of a more aggressive opener here. Hellions on the way. Reactor Hellion. Okay, there we go. Reactor Hellion. Sorry, Reactor Reaper Hellion out of CuKu. Now, as we build up an abundance of Reapers and Hellions, we can attempt to dive into a mineral line and to roast up some probes. The goal here is to get economic damage done. We'll see if we can. We settle into a 1-1-1. Looks like we've only made the one Hellion, so we're not going for additional Hellion production. We could have... Oh, there we go. Okay. I was going to say we could have gone up to 2 and then 3 Hellions. Likewise, we can go up to 4 and then 6 Reapers. Okay, only 3. Only 3 Reapers here for CuKu. With this, we can apply some pressure, but ForJumy should be able to keep up. Depth shade back. Keeping up with the army. Zoning it away. Back at home, Twilight Count's opener. This time it is Blink. This time we're not going crazy and rushing into charge, which is what Jumy did attempt in the previous game. See how he pushes in. The first step should be going down. But we were able to catch a Hellion, the other very low. Yeah, second Hellion goes down. Not quite the Reapers, as the Reapers, oh god, getting so low as well. Gelling quite nicely. 1 Reaper falls. Can we get another? Up! Oh my god, so close. Not quite. Regardless, we weren't able to get into a mineral line. We have preserved our workers. ForJumy soon to expand, taking a third base. How many gateways do we have? 1 gateway in the main. We have 1 gateway at the natural. So just 2 gate Blink into a third. A very economic build here out of ForJumy. Much more macro-oriented. As we hunt down another Reaper. Meanwhile, what do we have across the map? 1-1-1 into a 3-rack setup. Raven into tank production. This should be towards a longer game. Keep an eye on the 3rd CC timing of CuKu. And once again, okay, interesting. Raven first, followed by Banshees. And we saw how much damage Banshees did last game against ForJumy. No reason not to reinvest into additional Banshees. Does make sense. We go. Reaper does move out. Likewise, getting a probe kill. Probe gets 3 workers, actually. Not too bad. 3 workers go down. We catch the Observer. We deny high ground vision. Jumy cannot blink into the main. Actually done there by CuKu. the same time, this one Reaper popping up. 3 kills. 3 probe kills for the one Reaper. Ay. CuKu, calm down. So we got some economic damage done. We also got eyes on the third base timing. We're fully aware that, again, ForJumy is being more macro-oriented. As CuKu is still building up. Building up his bio army. Banshee's moving out. Raven likewise threatening with auto turrets. 1 kill so far. And CuKu is looking quite secure here on 2 bases. Still working on those upgrades. Stim, combat shields, eBay, and +1 just now started. Night shots going off. Banshee has arrived. I believe there's no cloak this time, so we don't need detection to keep up with the Banshee. Likewise, it was a blink-based opener, not charged, so ForJumy, he's much more secure and has a much better setup against these Banshees. Much better setup. Oh my god. Is just going to be calming things down. So we're throwing down 2 more Raxes. This is a 5 Rax setup on 2 bases. Basically, we made a choice. We could have afforded a 3rd CC instead of a 3rd base. Extra Raxes here, extra production. CuKu is doubling down on 2 bases. The observer will confirm ForJumy. Oh, does catch a glimpse of additional production, of additional Raxes. ForJumy, he has an idea. We can see he's checking for the 3rd base location. Getting ready for a drop into the main. Stalkers are out. We're pushing. Here we go. We are going to be pushing soon. Here comes the big on siege. We can see CuKu is set up even to try to catch some of these Stalkers. Oh, from behind! The trap has been set. We stim on forward and we catch the Stalkers. 1, 2, 3. For every Stalker going to be falling. Massive pick off here. At the same time, we drop into the main base, but we have reinforcements. Zealots are warped in. Oh, we cancel the warp in. And here comes the push. Again, we're very committed. 3 tanks, 4 Widow Mines. We have a massive amount of bio. Anti-armor missile on the army. We caught the Stalkers. The Zealots, how can they engage? They're going to melt. Zealots, big tank shots going off. The volleys are real. Overcharge gets popped, but there's barely any Zealots left. And CuKu, it looks like he might just have enough. He gets an immortal. The army is getting low. We are getting overstimmed. Be careful. Mine shots going off. Cells are coming from behind, but the numbers just are not there. We have it over. We connect with the tank, but the tank survives, and CuKu has done it. He's broken through the main army. Sims on forward. Boys are being pulled. What can they do against the man with gun? Yeah, the 2 base all in, hitting hard. And ForJumy just could not contend against this. Again, the prism across the map was denied. The Stalkers were caught. GG gets called, and we are going to the ace match. GG. Whew. Oh my god. Again, a very powerful 2 base all in there out of a CuKu. ForJumy did recognize what was coming. Like, he was able to at least catch a glimpse of the lack of 3rd and the additional Raxes on the way. But it was just brutal that his Stalkers got caught in the center of the map. That was the beginning of the end. That was a big blow to the army of ForJumy. And the setup, the layup there of CuKu to catch the Stalkers, to get the anti-armor missile, the Dorito cannon on all those Zealots, just made them so vulnerable, so fragile. They melted almost immediately. And that was the army, essentially. That was the army that ForJumy had left. Almost nothing. And with that, we're going all the way to game 3. Let's go. Let us go. Is Arakfire younger than Eba? I don't think there is a younger player than Eba. Yeah, I don't think there is. I mean, that no one exists younger than Eba, Papi. He's too young. He's a child. He's a baby. I should say, I don't think there are any pro players that are as young as Eba. I know that GG Machine is, I think he's 15, right? I think GG Machine is 15. But I think he's still like a year or 2 older than Eba. Like, I think GG Machine is the closest. Yeah, as I see in the chat, someone talking about GG Machine. Yeah. I think he is older. From what I remember. Still really impressive stuff. Oh wait, no, sorry. in my brain, in my mind, GG Machine is 14. Yeah, 2015 soon. In my brain, I was about to correct myself. In my brain, Iba is still like 13 years old. But I have to remember that he hit GM when he was like 12 or 13, when he was really young. But it's been a couple of years since then. So time does, you know, is a constant. Time advances forward. It's crazy. Like, it's one of those things where every now and then someone in the chat is like, oh no, yeah, like Maru, he's young, right? And then he's still like a teenager, right? It's like, no. Like, maybe at some point when you were watching, but we're all getting older, Poppy. We're all getting older. Smurge. Iba confirmed forever 12. In many ways, Iba is still 12. I will say that. I will. Iba's an animal, Poppy. He's an animal. In many ways, still 12 years old. Our same age, so yeah. Like a lot of people, like they remember Maru competing as a child, so they think of him as a child. But like, and I guess it doesn't help that he's still. It's not like, you know, he's like a dark now with like a goatee and like, you know, a mustache and facial hair and all that stuff. It can be easy to forget just how much time has progressed and how much older some of these players have gotten. But we're settling in. We are settling in and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Oceanborn. We have the blue Protoss player from the land of Germany representing the Platinum Heroes being forced into the ace match. It is ForJumy. Same thing as Clem. Yeah. Clem looks really young. Like Clem, he looks like he's like 16 years old, but he's like 32. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the opponent. We have the Romanian Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Red Pack Esports. It is CuKu. Let's go. Rainer has always been older than Clem, despite being younger. True. Let's go. Just recently, Clem looks a bit older, I think. I don't know. For me, he still looks quite young. Like even today, like yesterday. I don't know if you saw, but Clem was like playing. I think it was playing soccer with like Roddy and the others on the roof of HomeStory Cup. And yeah, I don't know. He still still looks quite young, but he's old inside. Mature. Let's go. But now we're settling in. We are settling in. It is going to be a gate tiebreak fan standard setup here out of ForJumy. Likewise, a CuKu going for the Rax Expand economic opener out of our Terran player. This time we're calming things down a little bit. Now this doesn't mean it's not going to be a 2-base all-in, but at least early on, it is an economic opener out of our Terran player. Calming things down, we're expanding. Does he look 2 years older than CuKu? That's the thing, like, unironically, CuKu does look older. Like, CuKu does look older than Clem specifically. Not saying he looks old, but he does. Like, CuKu has less of a baby face, if that's what I don't know. It's hard to say. And Clem has, okay, I should maybe this is a better way of putting it. Clem still has like this innocent like look to him, you know? Like he still has hope in his eyes, right? Like his happiness hasn't been stripped away. As we denied the proxy. Proxy scattered, proxies denied. It is shut down. Clem, he still has that smile. It's not been taken away, Papi. It's beautiful. CuKu has no happiness. There's no happiness left in CuKu. It's only Smurge, Papi, only Smurge. The Terrans would understand. They understand the Smurge, you know? Vindicta, he understands the Smurge. CuKu understands. Baby Marine, he understands. Like Clem, he's the outlier. He's a Terran player that doesn't Smurge. It's crazy. He shouldn't exist. to shut down the Adept, who did wreak havoc in the main base. And we can focus on the game now. Once again, ForJumy, he's been quite fond of this. A very interesting and unorthodox follow-up. We're not going for a blink, we're going for a charge once again. Okay, it's going to be a charge-based opener. Now, we saw that this was a detriment in game 2. I'm sorry, in game 1. If you remember in game 1, one of the big reasons why the Banshees got out of hand, they killed over 20 probes, is because we had no Blink Stalkers. You know, because we had invested quite heavily into these charge lots, and they just weren't able to do enough across the map. Of course, in the end, ForJumy did win, but it was not a clean game. It was not the easiest of game 1s. Interesting. Okay, so we're getting up to 3 gates. It's going to be 3-gate charge into a third. Third is on the way. And we'll see how aggressive we're going to be with this Prism, with this move out. Meanwhile, across the... That's a second starport! Wait, what? I was so confused. I was like, this is not a TvT. Why is there a second starport? It was almost done. We cancel it. A bit of a mistake there from CuKu that will delay his production, unfortunately. I was ready to experience like Mass Viking or something. I was so caught off guard. I was like, is this like an Uwu thermal build? Like Mass Viking, like Penguin, like Waddleby or something? Like what's going on? We canceled the starport. it is canceled. Prism moving out across the map towards the main base. There is an area, a patch here where we are hidden from the vision, from the eyes of CuKu, where we can warp in. CuKu has no idea, and Gumi, ForJumy, they'll slip in. Oh, likewise, the Marines, they do check. And Marines, they do manage to get in position. Zealots forcing friendly fire from the tanks. And can we get a tank? Ooh, not quite. 2 Zealots go down. CuKu in position. Behind this, we're getting into our third. Saturating. Storm is on the way. Temple Archives done, of course. +1 armor to help out those Zealots. Again, armor is a little bit more important for a charge out composition just because it allows Zealots to survive, to actually get on top of the army, get their swipes in. Similar concept to +1 carapace in ZVT, foiling Bane. But the goal is to allow the Banelings to survive, to engage with the army, likewise, here for the Zealots. And Maru. I was thinking of Maru as well. Yeah. And meanwhile, we are pushing out, and let's go. We have our 3-1-1 set up, and we pull the boys, a lot of boys. Workers from the natural and workers from the main. We leave 7 SCVs in that main base mineral line. The army hasn't spotted. We're aware. Shield batteries are on the way. Ooh, shield batteries at the third base. Bearing in mind, we can afford to give up on the third. And we can pull back to the natural, but no, ForJumy, he wants to defend both. Gonna try and hold on. Zealots across the map, crippling what little economy is left. And it's all or nothing. One way or another, CuKu will end the game. Either he wins or he dies trying. Storm is done. Oh, massive storm. Oh, does connect. A storm on the tanks as well. Immortal has arrived. Do we have another storm? We do not. But the Immortals are focusing down the tanks. There's 1 tank left. Protoss army is forced back. We have charge lots. We have charge lots. We have the overcharge. We have a shield battery. We're shutting down every single Marine. GG gets called. And ForJumy takes the series 2-1, taking down CuKu. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here to ForJumy. Again, that was a wild build out of CuKu. It was a little bit delayed again because of the starport did delay Marine production. We went, of course, without stim, without combat shields, without any bio upgrades, focusing and hoping that the tanks could carry on through. Alas, the storm was brutal and the Immortals did pop out just in time. It wasn't just that. Thankfully, ForJumy did see the push coming with the Observer. There was an Observer outside the natural, did see everything moving out, so ForJumy was able to warp in, was able to set up his shield batteries, had time to respond, precious seconds to get ready for the all-in. With that, GG. GG, well played. I was concerned that he was being a little bit too cavalier, trying to defend the third base as well, but he was more than ready at the natural, with the high ground, with the ram. GG. GG, well played. With that, congratulations. ForJumy will take the series. And the question becomes, what else is going on in the brackets? Let's see. Let us have a look, Pat. Let us have a look.